Today we're going to solve fraction equations. For our first example, let's do x minus 5 divided by 2 equals negative 7. Now, anytime you're solving an equation, the whole goal is to find the value of x. We're going to see what x equals. And in order to do that, we have to get rid of the math that is currently happening to the variable. And in order to get rid of those numbers, we've got to think about inverses or opposites. Okay, so we're going to have to get rid of a minus 5 and also a dividing 2. Now it's important to think about the order of events. And to know which one to get rid of first, I like to think about who is the variable's very best friend and who is the other guy hanging out with them. Now in this situation, I would read this as x minus 5, and then I would say divide by 2. Do you see how x minus 5 is grouped together in the numerator? Well, those are best friends. Let's keep them together for a minute. And the first thing we need to get rid of is this dividing 2. Now, like I said, to solve, we're going to do inverses or opposites. And the opposite of dividing 2, of course, is times 2. So my first step is to do multiply 2 on both sides of my equation, of course. Now, on the left, what happens is the 2's go away, leaving me with simply x minus 5. Now, over on the right, I'm going to need to do a little calculation. So let me pull in my handy dandy Desmos calculator, and I'm going to type in negative 7 times 2, and you can see that it gives me negative 14, so let me write that down. Now, I'm not done yet. I don't know what x is yet. So my next step is to get rid of minus 5, and the opposite, of course, is to add 5, and I must do that to both sides. On the left, what happens is I have negative 5 plus 5, which is 0. That is now gone, leaving x all by himself like we wanted. That's good. For the right side, I need to go to my Desmos calculator and calculate. Oops, I forgot the negative sign. So negative 14 plus 5 is negative 9. Negative 9. All right, let's show another example. This one says 5x plus 6 all over negative 4 equals 16. So let's dive in and get started. First of all, I like to draw a line through my equal sign to show the two sides of this equation. Now, this variable actually has 3 friends hanging out. It says times 5 plus 6 and divided by negative 4. And when we start getting into multi-step equations, it's helpful to ask yourself, if I knew what x was, what math would I do to it? And then we're going to undo those steps. For example, if I knew what x was and I had to follow order of operations or GEMDAS, I would first have to do times 5. I'm going to just jot that little note to the side. Then I would have some number here and I would add 6 to that. Then I would know what the numerator is, and at that point I could then divide by negative 4. Well, when we are solving equations, we are going to reverse those steps. We're going to undo that mathematics, okay? And that's why I reference getting rid of the other guy before the best friend, okay? If you notice, 5 and x are very best friends. Look how close they are. We're going to keep them together for a bit. Also grouped with them is that plus 6. We're going to keep it together for now as well. So first we're going to get rid of this negative 4. It is the number that is with them and yet the furthest away. So that's what we're going to send home first. And because it's under fraction bar means dividing, the opposite is multiply. So we're going to do times negative 4 on both sides of our equation. Now on the left, it gets rid of our negative 4 and leaves us with just 5x plus 6, the 2 friends. Well, I guess it's 3 friends really. And then over on the right side, I'm going to have to do a little calculating. So let me pull in my handy dandy Desmos calculator, and I'm going to type in 16 times negative 4. And you know, you can have the parentheses around the negative 4 or not. You're going to get the same thing. It's negative 64. on the right side. So now I can solve it like I'm used to doing. We're going to keep the 5 and x together for a minute. Those best friends are going to stay together. Okay, I got rid of divide -4 first. Now I'm going to get rid of adding 6 by subtracting 6 on both sides, of course. Now, on the left side, I am left with 5x plus 0, which is really 5x. On the right side, I need to go type that in. Let me show you a nifty tool on Desmos. If I'm going to start my next problem with the previous answer, I can push this answer button. It means pull in the previous answer, and then I'll do the -6 onto that. So -64 minus 6 is -70. And we have one more step to go. We are now going to get rid of this times 5. Remember, if it's squished together, it really means times 5. The opposite of multiplying is dividing. So we're going to divide both sides by 5 now. On the left side, I get 1x, which is really x. On the right side, I'm going to go to my calculator once more, pull in that previous answer of -70, divide that by 5, and I am getting -14. So -14 is our value for x. And don't forget, you can always check your work with equations by typing in -14 into the equation, okay? So I'm going to rewrite this front part of the equation into Desmos calculator. But I'm going to substitute in my answer, -14, in place of x. Now I'm going to take that whole thing and make it into a fraction. Oops. That button doesn't work. Let me try divide. Okay. And the denominator needs to be -4. And look at that. It does give 16, which originally told us should be the value of 5 times our number plus 6 divided by -4. So we did it right. When I substituted -14 in place of x, I really got 16 out. So the summary is, when working with these big ugly fractions, don't forget that we're going to first need to get rid of that denominator. It's dividing, so you're going to need to multiply that away first. Then you can solve it like you're used to doing. Have a great day.